Hello there. Welcome to whatever we're calling this show. So, same crew as last time today. What are you guys thinking about? What lore stuff is rolling around in your heads?
Well, I had a question. There's I've heard, I've not ever seen it, but I've heard there's a ghost on Yavin that is related to a war that happened there, and that's about all the details I got. And I'm not even sure that's correct.
Do you mean like in game? In SWTOR?
Yes, in the game, in Star Wars.
Okay, yes. So this is actually a very funny. So, well, not funny, just interesting. So I believe that randomly spawning at times on Yavin, you can see just a random uninteractable NPC that's just titled Sith Spirit, just wandering around the temples on Yavin 4. Now, there is only one candidate on who that could be. That is Exar Kun, the Dark Lord of the Sith from the generation before Revan and that whole KOTOR stuff. He's from the Tales of the Jedi comics. He's a cool character. The first we ever see to use a double-bladed lightsaber, actually, predating Darth Maul. You see his whole story. You know how he falls to the dark side, starts a war against the Republic, unifies other dark side cults and brings the Mandalorians into the fold, attacks Coruscant even in one, probably I would say the second or third most effective. No, I would say fourth, because the Vong are the most effective. I would say in terms of attacking Coruscant, it was the Vong, then the old Sith Empire, then third, I'd say. So he led the Brotherhood of the Sith, but the final battle of that war culminated on Yavin 4, and he was trying to ascend into an immortal state or whatever, but ended up being trapped in the his soul bound to the temples there. So yes, so actually the temple from A New Hope, where the rebels are, that's one of the temples built in his honor. So just all the I love it when lore gets tied up all together like that.
Here's something to go with that then. What's the lore, or I guess rather the karma behind why his quest failed? So I imagine just knowing what I know about Sith Lords and Yavin and from Vitiate, basically going there and sucking all of the life that he can or something. He was wanting to do that. So I imagine that's kind of what was going on. His ritual involved him sacrificing many sentient beings or something like that.
Correct. He was having his followers, Masasi Sith warriors. They were sacrificing themselves there, but there was it's been a while since I read Tales of the Jedi, but not to be confused with the much more recent animated series, which has absolutely nothing to do with it, even though it shares the same name and logo, and I digress. Yes, the combined Jedi task force in orbit, kind of all like meditated together and like kind of like reflected the whole where the like temple energies were focused or something like that. So he ended up getting trapped in the dark and suffering a fate worse than death. Till he eventually actually is it in the Dark Forces Jedi Academy? It actually ends up being Luke's students who finally end up like dealing with him for good, like dissipating his spirit entirely. It's like that's one thing I kind of miss about old Legend stuff. It's like when there were interconnected storylines, like of that were like that at a glance are completely unrelated, but then end up tying some stuff together like that.
I mean, Legends is still there for us to enjoy at the end of the day.
True, but I mean the only Legends material that is still being produced at it is SWTOR. Well, there was that one 2019. They actually they did a like anniversary thing. They actually briefly revived the 70s Star Wars, just straight up Star Wars Marvel comic and tied up some of the loose ends from that. That was very much appreciated. The stuff with Valance the Hunter. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? But yeah, no, that's just something I quite like. But
so I had another question. There's the Knights of the Old Republic 1, Knights of the Old Republic 2, and then I guess the Old Republic is supposed to, what people have told me is the story part is Knights of the Old Republic 3, and then the everything else, the whole MMO and all that is something else, something different. So
yes, there were originally plans for a KOTOR 3, but it never went much into development. Like there were only like document plans. All we know is there was going to be some like Tibanna gas planet like Bespin. They were gonna obviously continue where like the whole deal with Revan, and unless I'm mistaken, actually. Something funny is a lot of the plot threads they planned for, like it at least is rumored, or it was actually culminated in Mass Effect. But so BioWare's own original sci-fi universe, they ended up following some plot threads like Canderous Ordo unifying all the clans. Well, that ended up being, or not Rex, with the Krogans, and I mean that's not confirmed, just rumors, but like KOTOR 3 is a sore subject for some in the fan base. They really wish they got that instead of this MMO, but you work with what you got.
So, are there Knights of the Old Republic characters that are, I guess, displayed or worked into Corellia, or how do those?
Oh yeah.
How does that work?
Yes. There's those. There's a holographic like monument that has the party members from the first game. I loved that touch. So yeah, I just had Revan, Bastila, Canderous, HK-47, T3M4, Juhani, Jolie Bendo, Mission, and Zalba. Amazed I can still remember. So Triton, I believe you mentioned something about since we were talking about ancient stuff last time, the Qua and Coruscant or something?
Yes.
I really find it fascinating that Coruscant, basically, I'd imagine like if aliens like came to Earth and gave us like all this really cool technology, and they were all about progress and stuff like that. I think more along the lines is just my vague knowledge about it, but they're called the Gree, and the Gree came to Coruscant and then established all of this technology and infrastructure that basically still runs Coruscant tens of thousands of years later. So Coruscant being able to be I forget what the word for that is, but basically a city-wide planet, or a planet-wide city. There you go. Yeah, I just find that like...
Is that confirmed? I remember them like having all the Hypergate stuff. That totally not has totally nothing, no inspiration from Stargate whatsoever. But,
well, actually, it is confirmed. There's a very, very vague little mission that you get when you first come to Coruscant, which you gotta be like level 10 in the game on the Republic side. But you go to Coruscant and you're in the Senate Tower, and there's this droid that works for basically like the maintenance like department of Coruscant, and he's like, yeah, like I need you to go down there and like fix this stuff because like thousands of people are dying and stuff because like stuff's going wrong with all of this machinery. And you learn that it's Gree technology, that they came there and I think they called it, there's a word for it. They like the machines themselves, they're almost to the undercity like people, that's almost like they're gods. So I can't remember what the name of the machines are called, but yeah, like
I didn't know. Like I know about the Gree being one of the like ancient alien, like one of the most prominent of the like ancient like pre-Republic era with there was the Gree, Qua, Bakata, well, Celestials, of course, Sharu, but I didn't know they were involved in the development of the expansion of Coruscant itself. Yeah, no, that's I just love that sort of interconnected stuff in media.
And I agree. No one got it. No. So.
Agree. there it clicked. Ugh. I have to applaud that one.
So, are there objects that can manipulate the Force, as well as sentient beings, or are there other things that can interact with the Force? I mean, besides Jedi with a lightsaber.
That's a very good question, because there was a besides Obi-Wan's original basic explanation of what the Force was. It was an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, penetrates us, binds the universe together. But that's not the entire. There was I forget what book it was, but Qui-Gon showed Obi-Wan that there's more to the Force than just that. There's he brought him a stone from his homeworld, in which they could sense the Force within. Did that mean it was alive? Was it enchanted? Was it just one of those great mysteries? But yes, there are objects, like inanimate objects, which have connections to the Force. Well, my favorite of which is the Mask of Darth Nihilus, which is just so powerful that even basically a non-Force sensitive wearing it could basically would be as powerful as like an initiate, like Padawan or Sith apprentice, whatever, because it's just that overpowered. Now, how that is a question, is a great question. My favorite theory on that is there's another YouTuber, I believe I'll put a screen cap of who it is, but came up with a great theory that so there's some implications that Nihilus's mask is a Hendane death mask, which is formed, like they basically place these things upon the dead, and they like kind of store their memories. So, assuming that is the case, I would view it as, since the wearer of the mask would have access to Nihilus's memories, that would give them his understanding of the Force. And as such, I mean, that goes into the question of, like, you know, every being is connected, but, like, not all. But of course, being such a anything associated with Nihilus, that means it also led the wearer into incredibly self-destructive tendencies, and, you know, as such as it was with its original wearer, who destroyed his original body and just bound his own soul to his armor. That was, yeah. he is a fascinating guy.
That sounds like Full Metal Alchemist.
Straight up. Yeah, no, though that does, yeah, no, what I was trying to say before, is the nature. I've always viewed, like, people say, oh, character here isn't force sensitive, character here is force sensitive. I view it as a more of a spectrum in terms of, like, one of the things I liked about Rogue One, for example, was Chirrut Imwe, how sources explicitly say he is not force sensitive, in that, like, you wouldn't sense it in him. He doesn't have a high midichlorian count or whatever, and yet he can use it just from devotion and meditation, just understanding of his spirituality. I like that it just adds something to the universe. Like, I view force sensitivity the same way you might view real life athleticism. Like, some people are going to be naturally gifted and will always be better, but anybody with sufficient hard work and effort can achieve at least, like, a greatness.
Are you talking about the blind guy from Rogue One?
Correct.
But isn't that just, like, his heightened, but isn't that like a statement that, you know, you losing your sight would give you access to basically different senses and abilities and stuff like that you normally wouldn't have access to if you had sight, and therefore he's had to rely on what he can't see. And there's some way that guy's involved with the Jedi, so, like, what's his backstory? There's no way you become a temple guardian and stuff like that, and his, like, the handle for his stick, that's like a kid's lightsaber handle. He, like, jammed stick. Think about it. Look at that thing. It looks like a little, you know, Padawan in training, like one of their little lightsabers.
Yeah, no, the Temple of Wills is something from the first drafts of Star Wars, which still remains a great mystery.
The Journal of the...
Precisely. The Adventures of Luke Starkiller. But, that might have to be a topic for next time, because I'm afraid we're running over time. But, alas, dear viewers, thank you for joining us. Is there anything else you two would like to say?
Until next week, when we discover more lore, thank you.
Well, I say once again, dear viewers, may the Force be with you.